Good evening, Free Enterprise fans. We are here for the inaugural run of Twinsday Night 2v2s. A very popular event during World Series was the 2v2 format. So now that World Series is over, let's do it every week. Let's mix the flags up a little bit. Let's have fun with an actual teammate instead of just flying solo. I am Invenerable. Tonight with me in the commentator's booth is Rex Raoul. Rex, how are you doing this evening?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. I'm glad to be in the booth for this inaugural event. 2v2 is very fun, and it's, you know, if Free Enterprise is fun playing by yourself, it's even better to find a friend and play along with them as well.
Absolutely. So for those of you who may not be as familiar with 2v2, we do have we have many more teams than just the two you see on your screen, but we do have Highway Rawberry, consisting of Knight Do 14 and Pidge 01 versus Bygon's Biceps, Smape D, and RPG Mel 710. And each of these teams is in a voice chat together. They can share any information about what they find along their path, key items, bosses, really good loot, whatever they feel is relevant, they can share vocally. And hopefully we'll get started soon and see where this Edward seed is going to take us.
Yeah, and speaking of good loot, we do have the T4 flag on, so basically almost any chest could have anything in there. So if somebody finds an adamant armor, they will tell their partner about that so that they can pick that up when it's convenient.
Absolutely. And let's see, Sid partners. So we do have at least a little bit going for us early on. And, well, there's half our crystal already. This is V1. It is Forged to Crystal. We have to get the Legend Sword, the Adamant Ore. Also, we have to get Underground and a way to get to Zeromus. So we're really only 1/4 of the way to True Go mode, but still, that's a piece of the puzzle accounted for already.
Yeah, without a doubt, it's always a relief to find an item that you need to complete the game. Now, in this case, is it really that much of a relief, though? Everybody in the entire race has that same thing, so it's not like you made a smart play to get there. It's this is something that is even on the playing field.
Oh, yeah. And already we have divergence. Each team has one member looting Baron, one jetting off to Damsian to loot it as well. 2v2 really allows for a lot of great divide and conquer strategy. Only do half of it if it's required, or if it's really important, your teammate will come and clean up your mess afterwards, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. I think if teams want to succeed, they're going to want to not duplicate what the other person is doing, unless it's either for something extraordinarily powerful, like a really good piece of gear, or a key item that's required in order to proceed.
Absolutely. One other thing you all may notice is this wonderful new layout that Scala Kitty has put together for us for the Twinsday nights. The colors may be a little muted, but that is, of course, Pidge and Nightdew really wanted that Pain Man for their avatar this race, and Smape and Mel wanted the Paladin. So we have a little, black versus silver going on here, but there are a lot more colors and a lot more characters for teams to represent themselves. So we'll hopefully be a little more colorful in the weeks to come on that front.
Oh, come on, grayscale is always fun.
I know, but I just, for those of you who are on the Discord, if you look at the race channel, I really, really like that teal Rosa in the style of Marl from Chrono Trigger. Very, very aesthetically pleasing, at least for me.
One thing that I might want to note as a difference that we saw one team, I believe it was Smape D, on Bygon's Biceps, did a quick check of the boss in the waterway, just on the off chance that it might be the Mist Dragon, because it's going to take a couple extra seconds to just check that boss location. However, if it pays off and that's the Mist Dragon, that's the sort of edge that their team could have over a lot of the field.
Absolutely. Mist Dragon, of course, this does include the no free key item flag. You can't just talk to Edward in Troya. You have to hunt down that Mist Dragon if you want to actually get that little bit of loot.
Yeah, and as far as key items, not only the regular key items, but we also have the summon monster locations in play, we have the moon boss locations in play, and we have trap chests in play. So there's lots of different places where key items can be found.
Absolutely. And it looks like the first person who's going to give us a peek at one, Smape D, of our 4 featured runners, is already deep into Antlion Cave. usually a pretty easy boss check, and with Sid on the team, shouldn't be too bad. So we'll actually be getting our first piece of key item information pretty soon, I think.
Yeah, well, potential key item information. I guess it's key item information whether or not it is an item or not, but we'll see whether or not it actually pays off.
Yeah, he could end up getting a Drain Sphere. Oh, gotta love those Drain Spears and ninja shirts. And you can kind of see what is a common bit of strategy here is that frequently one teammate will go ahead and start kind of following the vanilla key item route through the game, while the other one will go ahead and make a whole bunch of shop checks. Get enough money to get the economy side of your game rolling, and see if you can find, you know, star veils, hourglasses, life potions, and cure 2s, things that can make a boss fight completely trivial rather than somewhat difficult.
Yeah, and by looting places like Baron and the treasury down in Troya, that usually is enough funding at the beginning of a run to do the shopping journey. So with these T4 flags, having one person relegated to shopping isn't usually like a problem as far as money goes.
Absolutely. And seeing some pretty good gear in Pidge's inventory, both a lightsaber and a dragoon spear. Very nice gear if we can actually find a paladin or a dragoon to wield them.
Yeah, and we find it looks like Forum is waiting on the top of Mount Hobbs behind some Kaipo guards.
Kaipo guards at one starting check, Baron guards at the other starting check. All these freebies getting out of the way early. I'm sure people would rather be finding these on the moon, but no harm getting your game rolling a little quickly early on.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of nice when you're dealing with Edward as one of your characters to have a more free fight at the beginning.
Smapey, by the way, ate a counter mini spell from a guard and couldn't actually get DPS any other way but to use a kamikaze item, and that let Sid finish off the guard in spite of being miniaturized. Clever use of that.
Yeah, that's very heads-up thinking, you know. Because if Sid is going to be your primary damage dealer in that, and he was determined to be the primary damage dealer, even if it, well, I guess it just is appropriate for Sid to blow himself up to help with what's going on in the game, right?
I mean, that's 90% of what he does in the vanilla storyline, right?
It's on brand.
Takes his airships, blows up. That's about it.
Yeah. Got a cursed ring, which isn't a key item, but it can be useful in certain situations, especially near the end of the game. So probably not going to sell that one. We'll see whether or not it actually comes into play later, but it is something that's worth noting. And depending on whether or not they're able to find one in another chest later on, Mel might be tempted to go and get it because it can be a very useful item.
Oh yeah, it's one of those subtleties of Free Enterprise that when you're playing through the game, you know, for your first few times, you don't necessarily pick up on all the real, you know, nuance that goes with agility anchoring and how to use that to your maximum advantage. But these racers, they know how to take advantage of it, especially in that Zeromus fight. So that cursed ring may be a very vital tool at the end game.
Yeah, it might be. It might just sit there in the inventory the entire game too. Depending on what characters you have and what levels you're at the end of the game, it might be important. But then again, sometimes it's not. But it's better. It's one of these things that's better to have and not need than to need and not have.
Absolutely. And we have seen Siren, Star Veils, and Hourglass 1s across the overworld, so definitely no shortage of items tonight, it seems. Rolled a 2v2 practice the other week where all 3 Hourglasses were stuck in Cave Evelyn, and the hook was somewhere absurd. So I'm sure our racers are very glad to have that item in their pocket already.
Yeah, that's a tough one, because especially at the very beginning of the overworld, 3 of the key item locations that you have access to are in Evelyn Castle, and those are pretty high-level encounters for right at the beginning of the game. However, if you have an Hourglass, they're all pretty safe to go and fight. And if you don't have access to them, then it can be rough. So our runners are going to be happy that they're able to get there so that they can get access to all the key item locations that are available to them right at the beginning of the game.
Absolutely. And Smapey losing a little bit of time there, having to get his Sid back up before going into the fight, and then just to find something that, well, Edward could have handled with that Gaia drum or that Stardust item. So Smaby and Nightdew kind of going tit for tat up here on the top half. Looking forward to seeing between Pidge and Mel who's going to be the first one to maybe go into that castle level, like you were saying.
Yeah, we've got that Baron in fight that we haven't seen any of our runners do, and of course, Mount Ordeals always looms.
Oh yeah. And there we go. That's an example of really good team communication on the side of Bygon's Biceps. Mel takes a quick hop into Antlion Cave, only grabs one chest, that Earthhammer chest, powering up his engineer, and now gonna go grab a character.
Yeah, and also with the knowledge that the Hypo Guards are at the top of Mount Hobbs, getting that Earthhammer for the AoE damage that it can be used as an item makes it so that getting this Quorum at the top is going to be very easy.
Oh, yeah. Very smooth play. Nightdew giving us our first look at the Babil castle fight. We're going to see what's replaced the gauntlet today. You know, everyone, I think, has their least favorite boss in the game. And I think that mine at this point is probably Mom Bomb. How about you?
Yeah, I can definitely see that because whatever place that you're at, it's going to have a very inflated HP level because of the how it goes with the transformation and everything like that. It's a grind. It's going to be a grind here. That's for sure. Yeah.
Mom Bomb, of course, has, I believe, 9,000 more HP than what's on the label, and if you can grind through those, you don't have to deal with the second phase. But right here, oh, Nightdew has the Earthhammer and a few multi-target items, he'll be fine. But I've run into, like, it's surprising how the bombs and gray bombs can actually wreck your party at certain locations if you're not prepared to throw an hourglass quickly or have some. And even if you do have really good armor, after enough turns, they explode and do their remaining HP and damage. And at that point, even if you're rocking the adamant, no, they don't care. You're going down.
Yeah, especially at places like King and Queen Evelyn that have, like, a lot higher physical damage than you might expect them to have. They can be very scary.
Absolutely.
Spacey is now in that fight as well.
Yeah, so this will be our next peek at a potential key item spot. Still no dips down into Castle Eben yet, but I believe our racers found a glass hat, or glass mask, whatever you want to call it, on the west end of Hobbs, which that'll definitely give Sid the HP to survive a round of attacks before popping an hourglass.
Yeah, I mean, the default attacks of all the monsters in the Castle Evelyn are physical, and the glass hat is excellent physical defense. Doesn't do jack against magic attacks, but if you know that all you're going to be facing in the first round are physical attacks, it's a smart plan to have that ready.
Nightdew getting a rat tail from the King of Babil, but ooh, an Excalibur and a Bahamut summon in the West Tower. That's probably what he's feeling real good about finding here in Babil.
Well, now just hoping if we get a Cecil or a Iridia, then it'll be better. But there's a life staff in the pot in the throne room that Nightdew finds, and that's going to be really good for Quorum.
Oh yeah, very, very great stat stick. Best in the game, plus 15 to the white magic stat. And, I mean, now you have pretty much an unlimited source of life potions for your team as well.
Yeah, it's... I don't like to depend on it for that, but if you can... It can save a few potions here and there for sure.
Oh yeah. Very nice find if you're playing a treasureless seed, Kata, or yeah, if you're doing full Kata, all of a sudden life staff, very delightful find.
Oh, without a doubt. If you don't have the life potions, it's a godsend.
Nightdew making the ordeals play. I can't fault him at all on this. We have found an Excalibur, and we haven't found a way underground yet. So come up here, go ahead and be ready for when you finally bump into that Cecil out in the field.
Yeah, and that makes me believe that Pidge is probably going to go either to Evelyn or Baron at this point.
And Mel is diving into Castle Evelyn already. Doesn't seem to have found one of the trap chests quite yet, unless I missed it over the last minute or so.
I don't think I've seen it yet, so.
Ooh. Nightdew finding Dr. Lugue up here. Going to be very happy to have that Earth Hammer on Sid. Both Valnob and I believe the second Lugue form. Yeah, there we go. Does bonus damage versus robots. That poor cybernetic Frankenstein thingamabob did not stand a chance versus Sid.
Well, I don't know. Dr. Lugue is going to operate him directly now. That gets pretty scary, too.
Oh, yeah. Don't want to get to the explode point. And also, yeah, Sid will not do quadruple damage versus this form. So, yeah, Nightdew might be in a little bit of a... Okay, there's a high roll from Sid. Okay. That first one that only did like 170 damage I was concerned with.
Well, and considering like all the HP in this fight is split among the two forms and Dr. Lugue and Valnab, it's not a very high HP spot in the first place when considering Dr. Lugue in that spot. So, I think even if we got to the explode, it wasn't going to be too scary. I mean, it might have offed Edward, but almost anything will off Edward.
Oh, yeah. Second boss ordeals. Dark Elf, not so bad here. Second form, of course, lacks the boss bit, so as long as Nightdew gets through this first path, we'll be able to throw an hourglass and call it a day.
RPG Mel finds the pink tail in a trap chest in Evelyn Castle with the Black Cat Lamia fight. We'll have access to an adamant armor when the hook is found.
Given that we have both the rat tail and the pink tail, though, and this is a Scala Kitty classic, right? We might as well just kiss that hook goodbye. We'll find it somewhere in the depths of the moon. Gonna be a magma key here any minute. I feel it.
Yeah, is this gonna be one of the weird times that I'm on commentary and I'm rooting for a magma key? Looks like Spapegy's in the second fight in the Baron Inn now, and we see King and Queen Evelyn. Once again, an early fight where we've got a basically free boss. Not really what you want to see again. You wanted to see these on the moon, but at least you know you're going to get through it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you always feel rough when you always feel bad if you have a rough early start. Just you go check all these bosses and you can't get through them. But it also feels pretty bad to be like, well, we've already seen 3 basically free fights that we're not going to find on the moon at this point. So
yeah, that's a lot of them that are gone now. But Smapety does get his old Mantella for doing this, and we'll get a ninja shirt.
Oh, poor misunderstood ninja shirt.
Yeah, we got the meme there.
Mel getting a drain spear. Speaking of memes, over in the castle. So, where's our path underground gonna be? I'm starting to think we might see it here from Nightdew in just a second.
We might see it from Nightdew. We've got one more trap chest in Evelyn, and we still have that Flame Dog chest.
And, like you said earlier, Mist Dragon's out there somewhere. I don't think I saw anyone check the vanilla spot, and there's always the possibility of Mist Dragon at Magus Sisters.
And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Inven, because we just saw Power Shirt. We just saw Power Shirt on as the reward for Mount Ordeals. We do have the possibility. Oh, there we are. Now speak of the devil. We also have the possibility of getting a darkness crystal and having underground access gated through the moon. Is that correct?
Absolutely. We do have that exclamation point at the end of the key item flag string, which indicates safeties are off. We could have to go moon before we can go underground.
Well, now Nightdew's got that Power Shirt, and we'll have another place to check right away in that Mist Dragon spot.
Scala, we heard you laughing for a minute there. Was there something that you needed to chime in with us for? Oh. Gotcha, friend. Just making sure we weren't missing anything. The Scala with that infectious laughter, I'm like, is there a joke I'm not in on right now?
For me, it's usually yes. Mel is now in the last trap chest, the Mad Ogre's chest, making use of the life potion glitch. These ogres give a pretty decent amount of experience, so life glitching these is a good way to boost your team early.
using those coffin items also, just to shave a little bit of time off of the fight. Nice 9,500-ish experience. And Spoon. Hey, Eddie's ready to roll.
Yeah, and we found Smeepty also finds a heroin robe in Silvera. That can make Porum quite strong as well.
The unlikeliest melee wrecking crew ever. A bard, a small child, and, well, I guess the engineer makes sense that he would be a little burly.
Yeah, we've got you make do with what you've got, and if what you got is good and it works for them, then there we go. Looks like Night Dew has found the Baron key from the Mist Dragon check. So we do have another place. This is going to open up 2 more key item places. The King of Baron and the Odin spot will both be available at this point.
Absolutely. And it's kind of funny. You know, I realized that we took off the key item safeties just to make it interesting in case we had to go to the moon, but we left the boss safeties on. So Night Dew's only path underground can't be gated purely by the Odin spot, but it can still be gated by the D-Lunar spot, the Plague spot, the Ogopogo spot. The D-Flag probably doesn't make too much sense on here. I may have to look at that in the weeks to come and see if we can't make things a little ruder for our racers.
Well, I think as somebody who works a lot of commentary, ruder is better.
So we are left with Baron Key and Flame Dog. We've seen Mist Dragon. Mel's over here doing a check here, since neither he nor Smeepty have been up ordeals to find that fight. And my next the thing I'm curious about next is if Pidge will actually go make that quick Flame Dog check for the team, or if, since we now, it's implied, it's not guaranteed, it's implied our path underground is through a nice long ordeals Baron Castle chain, if she'll try to make up a little lost time and go there first and foremost.
Yeah, I mean, it's a gamble to go to that Flame Dog chest, but it's one of those where, you know, different teams have different opinions on that Flame Dog chest, whether or not it's worth the time. Because going up to Mount the Tower of Zod is you can't use exit to get out of there. You've got to walk back out, and you don't know where in that tower you're going to find that dog. So it's a bit of a time sink in order to make the play to do there. But in this case, we're running out of those places that can give that underground or moon access. So if you've got to do it, you got to do it here. But sometimes some teams will rush it as soon as they can, because if there is something important up there, that could give an edge that some teams won't take.
You know, it's kind of funny. You mentioned not knowing where. I know where that Flame Dog chest is. If I'm the one checking it, it's the very last chest before the first boss fight. If my teammate's checking it, it's first chest. It's first chest. Just go.
Yeah, and the Tower of Zod is particularly nasty because it has that one floor that doesn't have any chests on it that you have to walk by before you get to the last room with the 3-prong thing. So it's just a not fun dungeon to try to mine the one trap chest.
Yeah, just such an annoying walk. Thought Mel had frozen there for a minute, but I still saw the flashing lights at the tower, so he's probably writing something down or marking something off that he heard from his partner. That's one thing that you'll see sometimes, is just because of how much information the racers are communicating and keeping track of, that you'll see these little moments of hesitation where it's like, oh yes, I gotta write this down. I don't need to forget this key item. There's nothing worse than your teammates going back to find the last piece that you found a while ago, and you have no idea which chest in Sylph Cave or Lower Babil it was in.
Yeah, and Mel taking a piece out of Invenerable's book and finding the Flame Dog in the last chest. Before
the last chest. And package, though, not necessarily an item I'd want to worry about walking out with, but it still counts towards the 10 for getting double XP. Looks like Mel is probably just really interested in if this is Mist Dragon, which we, with our all-seeing eyes, know better already.
Yeah, without a doubt. So Pidge did make that gamble that we were talking about to check on that Flame Dog chest, and she's going to be a bit sad when she finds that package there, because that means that she's going to have to follow Night Dew's path of going up Mount Ordeals and through that Baron Shade at this point.
Yeah, you always hope that you don't have to do that kind of double dipping, because You know, one thing that I'll see some teams do is, with how potent a Crystal Sword Cecil is in this format, some teams may both go ahead and say, hey, let's both do ordeals, let's go ahead and knock it out. If we get that Tella, he'll know all his spells. If we get Cecil, he'll be ridiculously OP. If we find Fu, he has even more of his spell set complete. So any team that did decide for both members say, hey, let's both knock out ordeals, is going to feel really good against the competition tonight.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes it depends on whether or not those characters are available. Of the ones that you mentioned, the only one that we've seen is Tella. And how often do you want to take Tella really late in the seed? That's going to depend on what's available to you as well. It does make him a bit more useful, but he's still a tough sell for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. And I do. So here's another recurring joke that I have with some of my friends and teammates is, I can never remember which boss is at the Baigen spot. Well, today, it was Baigen. Convenient enough.
Yeah, well, now we're going to see if literally Knight 2 can beat Baigen's biceps right here in this fight. Once again, the team name of Smapety and RPG Mel is Baigen's biceps.
The Mel and Pidge both actually bothered to hoof out with the package. There's a Yang here for the taking. I'm wondering if Mel is doing this to round out his team, or if it's more in the interest of, again, Baigen's biceps has not seen Mist Dragon yet, maybe making the long shot play that it's hiding out in the Kaipo Inn.
Yeah, I would say at this point, since Smapety is still in that Dr. Luge spot in the first in Mount Ordeals, that's probably what Mel is doing here. I mean, getting Yang isn't going to be a bad idea for a team, but this whole progression through the package is such a long cutscene that you have to sit through that unless it's like maybe Fusia or Edge, maybe Cecil, depending on what gear you've got too, going through all this usually isn't worth it.
Oh yeah, it's very long. It's not just like one cutscene. It's like, here, have cutscene, have more cutscene. Would you like some more cutscene with that side of cutscene? Oh, and then when it is Mist Dragon, utter just despair washes over you.
And then it's you have to make the walk to Kaipo too, which is another annoying place to get to. I mean, yeah, I mean everything about it is just annoying. As far as if you're trying to do things fast, package is not the way to do it.
Yeah. Young, of course, does have pretty decent utility, though. We have seen Sirens for sale. I know some people aren't huge fans of him, but if we do say... I wasn't naming names. If we find Moon Access, you kill a few gold dragons, all of a sudden he's punching for a couple thousand damage. It's not so bad.
He does have great HP progression, I'll give that. He's really good at throwing items in the last fight.
I'm a monk of chemistry. I don't know how that works. Naidu has defeated Baigen's biceps. But at this rate, we know every single featured racer will be beating Baigen's biceps at some point this evening. So, next up, the Baron Throne. Let's see who usurped it today. Well, once Naidu stream. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, I was worried there for a moment, but everything looks good now.
Yeah. Not a bad spot to find Evil Wall. Should be easily torn down. Doing their best Mr. Gorbachev impression. Tear down this wall. That was a dumb joke. I apologize.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. No, but no, this is a fine place to find the Evil Wall. They've got plenty of power to get through it. It's not a very high HP spot. It's not a very high physical attack spot. This is not going to be a problem.
Oh yeah, much better spot to face it than, for instance, the Rubicante spot. That's my current least favorite place to fight Evil Wall. He's a big old jerk there. That
is a nasty spot. He can also be nasty in the Leviathan spot.
Getting a whole lot of convergence here on Mount Ordeals. Smapety and Mel have cleared the rest of the overworld, so they know that whatever progression they have has to come through here one way or another.
And Knight Dew, having defeated the evil wall, is also rewarded with a Tella.
So under this particular flag set, given that there are no free characters, that means there are exactly 13 character spots. You will find one duplicate. This seed's duplicate? Oh, baby. That is Tella. Gotta love it.
Got some more old man love here. Vengeful old man love.
That's a nah. That's the name of my.
I better not go any more than I
Vengeful old man.
But we'll see if this is going to be another rabbit hole, or if we're going to get our access to either the Underworld or the Moon. And then we've got the Magma Key. Hey, no hooks, so still that rat tail, that pink tail.
Yep, and no loose T4 adamant armors found yet either. So I'm sure everyone would love one of those right about now, but nothing doing. So that blows the seed wide open now. Of course, there is now Dwarf Castle, which is a one-off check, but, you know, making it early can give you a nice lead if it's required progression. Feymarch has one freebie, one trap chest, and 2 rude bosses. And then 4 chests in Lower Babil, plus a boss. Of course, 5th spot if you have a tower key. And then Sylph Cave with so many trap chests.
That Sylph Cave is the bane of a lot of teams. It's such an annoying place to go hunt for key items for a number of reasons. There's a lot of those trap chests. Those damage tiles means that you have to be ready for whatever you're going to fight whenever you open one of those chests. And some of those fights are just annoyingly long, and like waiting for those ghost animations unless you have, you know, something like mute bells or something ready.
Yeah, mute bells will cut out the fire twos. The hourglass won't work because even though you stop the enemy, if the attack is already queued up, it still goes off. But at least spells will still check, wait, you're muted, you're not casting this. So, and those fire twos hurt as well, especially at these relatively low levels. Won't surprise me to see maybe some egg grinding just to pump up the team a little bit before really pushing forward and committing to any of these fights.
The thing is, with these Tellas and the completing of Mount Ordeals, all the runners do have access to the float spell, so the damage tiles can be mitigated by that. However, as you said, that fire 2 that the opening salvo of those ghosts deal is still scary. There's other things in there like I think they're the dark trees or the evil trees, have a pretty high physical attack ability as well. So I mean, the monsters in there are not trivial.
Oh yeah, and of course the Final Fantasy mainstay, the Marlboros, although slightly strangely translated, you know, mobile, because they hadn't made it they didn't get it quite uniform, I suppose, until Final Fantasy VII, because there were also like Evil Oscar or some weird name like that in Final Fantasy VI, as I recall.
Yeah, but Bad Oscars and Evil Oscars. Yes.
Yeah. So that breath attack also, if you aren't rocking status protection, well, your character is now a silent, small, toad, piggy creature. It's terrible.
And then the other annoying fight in there, it's not really dangerous, but I never want to fight that Toad Lady Tiny Toad fight.
You know, not to take it back to Cataseeds again, but that's actually a pretty hilarious fight on Cataseeds, because you can literally not lose that fight.
Yes.
It may take you an hour punching all the frogs and the lady for 1 damage apiece yourself, but you cannot lose that fight.
Now it looks like Knight 2 is doing one thing I thought we might see, is doing a little bit of an egg grind here, getting his characters a little bit more levels. Not too big of a surprise here to get that. I wonder how much Knight 2 is planning on completing with this party if he's committing to grinding up some levels on him here as well.
Absolutely. And also, going through his inventory there, I'm sure he just also realized that he does not have any coffins or any hourglasses. So he might actually do one more shopping trip before he goes anywhere. even though we've seen most of the bosses who are trivialized by hourglasses, trap chests, great utility there. We've still not seen the Dark Imps fight. That's another spot we could use them. So he's probably thinking, how do I not have hourglasses? I'm underground. What's happened?
Yeah, almost all the trap chests in the game are the hourglass can be useful. Definitely in the overworld, but in the underworld, most of them are good too. Especially thinking of like that 5 warriors chest in the Fame March.
Oh yeah, definitely. The only ones that you're not going to get away with doing that are the Behemoth chests and the Dragon chests in the Lunar Subterrane. All the others, though, enjoy your freebies.
And we just see Knight 2 heading up to Dwarf Castle. Going to get access to another character, another key item location here. 2 bosses to beat through this, and looks like the first one is going to be Leviathan.
Oh, nice. I'm uncertain what the magic attack power is here and whether those Ice 2s are actually going to be working as team over. On the bright side, Leviathan does have that lightning weakness, so these Tellas may actually do a decent bit of work with their lightning 3s if they can get them off in time.
Yeah, having access to Lit 3 for this fight can really be nice, I think.
You know, I am glad that it is Twinsday night, and we did actually get twins on a team. Well, actually, I think everyone's going to have 2 Tellas very soon, and you know, they match very nicely. Wonderful fab palettes on these Tellas.
Yeah, the only thing that would make it, because we know that all that you get is a Tella for completing Baron Inn, it wasn't a required key item, so that one is optional. But this other one, the Baron one, that one you have to see.
Ooh, and yeah, those Ice 2s are doing about 800 damage. Sid probably has a piece of Dragoon gear on, so we'll thus have his damage halved, but no one else on this team is going to survive one of those.
Yeah, luckily the Lit 3 did enough damage that Sid was able to finish it off with the hammer. So that's I think it's from the when it turns into the Calbrena doll, the big doll. I think it has some of the some status effect magic that might require a higher magic point. So that's a pretty big chunk, the 800 with that Ice 2. That's a scary amount of damage.
Oh yeah, and hey, there's the good white mage of the game. Ditching a Tella. Gonna still keep Porum, even though we found her upgraded version, so to speak.
Yeah, no shortage of white mages this run, it doesn't look like.
Yeah. And, ooh. So, fun fact about the Earth Hammer. Even though it says Earth on the label, it does fire elemental damage. Mylon Z is about to get utterly whack-a-moled by this Wario Sid. Oh, 30 damage shy of a one-shot. There we go.
Yeah, as we see on Pidge's screen, she only has one of the Tellas. Saved time by not doing the Baron fight that Knight 2 did, and just went to Ordeals, skipped the Baron Inn fight, just went to the Baron Castle, so just the one Tella there.
Hey, makes perfect sense, also, she actually picked up the spoon, so her Edward is going to be doing really nice work. Yeah, that's one thing that you're going to usually see. Teammates will do their best not to tread the same ground unless it's something either required or important enough or powerful enough to actually make up for that time you lose by double dipping across the entire team.
And even when it comes to like really powerful equipment and gear overall, like how close is it to the entrance of the dungeon? Like how late are we in the seed? Like even something like an adamant armor, if it's like at the bottom of the Sylph Cave and I'm in go mode, am I going to go all the way down there for that? You know, maybe not. It just depends on what you've got already, where you are in it. You've got to make a judgment call.
Oh yeah. No, and that actually crosses all flag sets. It's knowing when have I, like, you know, there are things that you want for go mode, and we usually talk about it in terms of key items, but we can also talk about it in terms of, okay, I have now actually reached the amount of loot I need to outfit a team to be ready to beat up Zeromus. And speaking of teams that kind of come almost loot ready, Edge is coming in to Smapedy's screen behind that Sand Ruby with wonderful endgame gear already on him. Wants some better swords, but love that black belt.
Yeah, he's got a couple legendary ninjas in his key. Oh, and he's showing off one of the new features, utilizing that select button to get some information about equipment during. You can use it either in shops or in the item screen so that you get more information as to what they do, what bonuses they give to stats. It's a very useful overlay that's been added to the more recent version of Free Enterprise. Very handy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. With 4 board implemented this, if you wanted to find these statistics, well, there are spreadsheets on the Free Enterprise Discord server that you could refer to, but now, no. Hit that select button, view it in-game, and save yourself a little bit of the runaround, especially if you're playing on actual hardware.
Yeah, absolutely. The other way, otherwise, if you wanted to check how good it does for your stats, it would just be enter the stats menu, equip it, and then check it after you equip it. Then you can compare the numbers that way. I know that I've used that before.
Absolutely.
Interestingly enough, it looks like Night2 has decided to ditch that curse ring, does not want any parts of it, but does find a protect ring in the Tomra treasury room. So that's a very nice piece of equipment to find.
Yeah, but Night2 didn't speak to the temp job dwarf, so hopefully one of our other racers will chat with the dwarf and find out what its temp job of the week is.
Employment dwarf is very close to my heart. So.
Well, you were the one who suggested employment dwarf, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's why. Yeah. It's very personal to me. Looks like Mel has decided to go down and check the boss of the Odin spot. So this is this is something we haven't seen yet, and it looks like it's going to be Mylon and the Ghasts, because we've seen Mylon Z, right?
Yes, yeah. Mylon Z, second boss back at Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, so we've got Mylon and the dwarfs, and looks like Edward is making the gas pretty trivial with the spoon, and depending on how you route this fight, it should be pretty safe. This Berserk, we'll see how this ends up. I'm not quite sure. It looks like Pidge has also decided to go there too, so we've got 2 people doing this route. Pidge is using the hourglasses on the gases to make them pretty safe as well.
Oh yeah, if they're frozen, you don't have too much to worry about. If you kill them all, Mylon will occasionally take a swing at you, but his lightning one's probably not going to do enough damage for either of our featured racers in the fight to really be worried about it. The real fear is what happens if you kill Mylon first and leave the gas standing without having frozen them. Because no matter what spot they're in, their attack is pretty much max, and it will wreck your team.
Yeah, it's one of these fights that, in a lot of situations, it's just really easy. But in certain situations where you're under-leveled at fighting it, you might have to be careful exactly how you do it. In some cases, in Pidge's case, having that hourglass is a real nice safety net in this location. With Mel not going that route, just berserking up Spoonward to deal as much damage as possible. Now Mylon's going to get more lit ones, more physical attacks going in, but hopefully we'll be able to keep the healing up in order to deal enough, and Mel does get through the fight, so very good job.
Night2 finding that Sand Ruby on floor 1 of Lower Babil, just like Smatey did, gonna run over here to Kaipo. Probably someone on the Rawberry team peeked this earlier, knew it was an edge waiting, and finds that Sand Ruby. Is like, yes, I want that ninja. Give me some really, really good, fast, strong melee DPS. I bet Night2's also rocking his fair share of ninja blades, so this edge is about to start doing work for Team Rawberry as well.
Yeah, and since Night2 did not get the spoon that Pidge had acquired earlier in the run, ditching Edward here for Edge makes complete sense.
Feeling a little bad for those 2 Avengers sitting in Night2's inventory. Would love to see a Paladin or a Dragoon to wield those at this point.
Yeah, they're pretty nice.
I looked away for the briefest of moments. Did you see what Mel got from that fight? I mean, I guess Pidge is about to show us again in a moment anyway.
Yeah, it was a glass helmet.
Oh. Hooray!
Yeah.
That's one reason why I am looking forward to the Limit Break run. It was one of my favorite things about the Free Enterprise run at AGDQ is anytime there's an adamant armor, by the way.
Yeah.
Anytime a racer gets one of those really disappointing items, especially if it's at the end of a lengthy chain, just seeing that look on their faces,
yeah,
definitely a highlight.
The camera on there, like, oh, come on, man. But yeah, the adamant armor at the top floor of the treasure tower in Baron Castle. So we'll see if Pidge decides to make that climb up to pick that up as well.
And with that, Mel slaps that on Edward. Adamant armor, spoon, Edward, all your dreams of Murder Bard are about to come true.
Yeah, that is endgame worthy, without a doubt.
Oh, and Pidge is running upstairs.
Yeah, so Pidge is going to have a very powerful spoon word as well. Well, I guess, assuming that she decides to put it on Edward, but I mean, it could be good on anyone.
Yeah. And so it won't surprise me if after he's done in the Tower of Babel, Night Dew has, of course, cleared the Kenatso fight. We all had to do it to get underground. So very short run up that tower if you're just going to get the adamant armor. You don't have to deal with the Odin spot, but adamant armor is one of those just pieces of gear that if you're not already ready to fight Zeromus, the time that it takes to get it probably gives you enough extra DPS to be worth the time, especially in a spot like that.
Yeah, with Baron being a really central location in this game, kind of by design, but there's a lot of places where you're, like, anytime you go up to the overworld from the underworld, you're right next to Baron Castle. It's not like you need to make a big detour to get there. Just the next time that you are going through that volcanic gas. I was trying to come up with a good word for hole in the ground. That's near Eggart, and I couldn't come up with one. For a hole in the ground. The next time you're near there, you can just swing by Baron, pick up an adamant armor. Pretty easy to do.
And Lower Babel coming up short. Correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the only key item we saw here was that sand ruby on the first floor. Snape wrapped up the tower, finding a defense sword at the top behind the Magus Sisters. So no big payout here. Some decent gear. Of course, upgrading our team is always nice, but no actual progression.
Scarlet Kitty giving me the right phrase. Of course, I should always look to Mylon for how to talk. The deep ravine, that's near Eggart, because there we go.
And as the older I'm getting, the more I find myself saying, "Oh, my body."
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah.
That's a mood right there as well. Oh yeah, Snape's grabbing that adamant armor. You can tell, like, direct flight as soon as he finished the tower.
Yeah. Look at using those frequent flyer miles, and looks like Pidge is checking the chests in the Land of Summoned Monsters, using that float spell, ready to fight the warriors when she finds that, because that's going to be another potential key item location.
Yeah, and did we actually see anyone dive down into Feymarch already to check the shop or bosses or the freebie item? I don't think we did.
This is the first that I think we've seen down. So I think since we've all had Tella, I wouldn't have been surprised if anyone wanted to go down here, they wanted to do it all at once and check that warrior's chest on the way down. Well, and maybe do the bosses. The bosses can be really tough down here sometimes, but if possible, take care of all of it at once. The Pidge has found that warrior chest.
There we go. Tiva's Revenge asking in chat, anyone check Sheila 1? I don't believe so. Usually it seems that on this KQMT flag set, where there's so much to do in Sylph Cave, people tend to kind of ignore the Sheila 1 check a little bit longer than they do in a K flag set or a KQM flag set.
Yeah, exactly. These places, like going to a location where you're just getting one potential key item check, becomes a lot less prioritized than places like the lower tower, which has all those trap chests that are relatively easy to clear out too. So
Absolutely.
and I think Mel also did not talk to the employment dwarf, so it's tisk.
So disappointing. So disappointing. We'll have to bug them in the post game interviews about that.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be the most important question.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which team wins. I'm saying, or which team of our featured teams comes first, comes second. Be like, what would have really helped you on that. There we go, Smapey. Thank you. Never mind. All right, that's it.
Okay.
I'm on Bygone Spice. Rest of the night. Sorry, Pidge. Sorry, Night Dude. That was such a rush of endorphins. I'm having to calm down and collect myself a bit. Thank you, Smapey. You're the real hero.
Yeah, and especially since on this particular flag set with the people in voice chat, usually over the stream has the voice chat. We're not going into hearing everybody's individual music. We're hearing music provided by the great Scala Kitty doing DJ work tonight. So we don't get the hero from somebody checking the Twin Harp location tonight. So Employment Dwarf will do.
Ooh, and the free item chest, or free key item, potential key item location in Feymarch gives a crystal sword. So where is Cecil hiding? That's a...
Yeah, we've found a couple of vendors. We have a sword. There's a defense sword up at the top of Baron as well. Like, we've got good stuff for Cecil and Kane, without a doubt. But yeah.
I'm just over here, just dreaming dreams of Crystal Venger Adamant Armor. Oh, give me that combo. Cecil, solo the game for me. I'm taking a nap. And of course, our racers struggling with the real final boss, inventory management. Seen both Pidge and someone else struggling to find what to throw away. T4 gives you such an embarrassment of riches. It can be hard to figure out what to actually hold on to and what's worth just selling or tossing in the garbage can.
And it becomes especially difficult in a scene where it's like, you've got this crystal sword. Like, if I get Cecil, he'll be so good. But if I don't get him, then this is just taking up another spot, and I could sell it for so much money.
Oh, yeah. Snippy finding his warrior's chest, and oh, hey! This is actually not so bad. I would consider both these Feymarch fights to be free. We have an adamant armor, so Water Hag can't fully wipe the team before we get 3 attacks off. And Golbez, again, adamant armor, you will be immune to the Hulk gas. Very easy to throw a Star Veil, and then all his spells just hurt him right back. So, very nice bosses to see in Feymarch. I bet our racers are wishing they'd come down here a little bit sooner at this point.
Night Dew making an easy to make mistake on this ghost fight, using Edge's flame attack. Ghosts are undead, kind of, but they also absorb fire. So. Yep. Most of the undead of this game you want to use fire against, but not the ghost.
Yeah, I think most of the spirit types are like that. I have vague memories of trying to cast it on the spirits and souls in the vanilla game as a child, and being kind of annoyed that green numbers popped up instead of white ones. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, I believe that's correct. All of them are of that ilk. Pidge easily takes care of that water hag, gets a crystal ring. Not progression, but again, embarrassment of riches. We've had lots of crystal rings, protect rings. These are what you want to have for your arms part of your armor.
Oh yeah, they have amazing magic resistance and evade. The Protect Ring and Crystal Ring are even on that front. Protect Ring does give you basic elemental resistance. Crystal Ring gives you some status prevention along with an extra 5 agility. Both wonderful things to have for if we have to go to the moon, and of course when we're in our Zeromus fight. Ugh, fighting ghosts without a source of quake though.
Yeah, that's the thing. We haven't found Iridia. We haven't found a Palom. We haven't found a Fusia. So you got to just pound them down, just like you might do with your raw berry. Drink raw berry every day.
Delicious. The Earth Hammer Detain, although it will do a quake, it does a set magic power quake. So even though it's nice multi-target, it'll only do like 300 to 400 damage per ghost, and it doesn't really kill him that quickly. I understand Night Dew's choice to berserk his Sid instead of popping the item in use.
Yeah, it might be about a wash either way. Like how much time it's going to take either way, it's going to be a while. You don't have to worry about hitting buttons as often as berserk Sid.
Yeah. Pidge getting down to the Golbez fight. This Moonveil on an Adamant Edward with Sid as the anchor will probably give Reflect for the entire fight, even given how long the cutscene-ish portion at the beginning is. So Eddie's going to be ready to go to town and shouldn't have any real difficulty this fight.
Yeah, sometimes it is like getting that veil off before the Shadow Dragon kind of little mini cutscene in this battle happens can be risky for that reason, because sometimes it'll run out. In this case, I think it's going to be fine.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we are pleasantly or unpleasantly surprised, but I believe in Edward. I believe. Naidu and Mel each tackling Sylph Cave for their respective teams. So annoying doing this without really strong AoE magic.
Yeah, and this is, I think, the consequence of us not having access to the moon at this point, I think, is what we're seeing right now. If we had access to the moon, we'd either have higher levels to get through these fights easier, or we would have found a character on the moon who might have access to that quick.
Absolutely. I mean, even having just a Cecil or Kane who can come into these fights with an Avenger or switch to an Avenger very quickly,
yeah,
that alone would speed things up considerably. I mean, Edge is doing what he can, Sid's helping out a little bit, but the real heavy hitters just haven't shown up yet.
Well, I mean, the other thing is, like, both of our adamant spoonwords, I think, are in the other place. So.
Also true. Also true. Gungnir Spear there. Scala, did you remember to put progression in this seed? Well, Radio with Bahamut's always nice, Tifa's Revenge.
Yeah, I would call Iridia with Bahamut at least equivalent to a Quake.
Yeah. Well, a little slower on the cast. You might not beat the Ghost of the Fire 2, but you will wipe them in one spell.
Yes. And if I'm being real, I'm not getting that Quake off before the Fire 2's any.
Oh. But hey, you see, that's why that Cursed Ring matters so much.
There you go.
One of these, yeah, actually, we talked about how using agility manipulation with your anchor is really handy in late game fights, but it's also fantastic for quick clearing Sylph Cave. If you can get your Quake off by having your caster, there's progression, there's a Darkness Crystal. Get your Quake off by having your character in the top slot cast it with a Cursed Ring anchor, you can usually beat the Ghost of the Punch, and all of a sudden Sylph Cave becomes a nice, pleasant walk, spelunking, rather than the suffering that it normally is.
Yeah, Pidge able to had a narrow victory over Galvez there. That Moonveil, the reflect, did wear off, and Edward was hit with a lit 3. Luckily, that adamant armor protected him. If that had been a virus, that might have been a lot scarier. But one more hit with the spoon, and Galvez goes down. Gives Pidge access to the pan. So now we know progression is down in that Silk Cave. Plus, when she goes down there, she'll be able to smack Yang on and do that Sheila chain, which has another 3 potential checks.
Absolutely. And noteworthy, Nightdew did not finish off that half of the cave. He got that Darkness Crystal, he got out of dodge, he wants to know who this Lunar character is, he wants to start taking moon checks. So the question is, will Pidge do that pan check, grab the Darkness Crystal, and give chase, double team the moon clears? Is there a lot of bosses and a lot of trapped chests? Or is she more inclined to clean up the rest of Earth, make sure you didn't leave something in your haste?
Yeah, I think that's probably more likely, but it could. We don't know the dynamics between this team at this point, but it looks like Pidge is going to get that Sand Ruby to go get Edge, and then we'll probably at least have to get that Darkness Crystal. But I'm guessing we're going to see at least the Sheila one, and it might be Pidge's job to finish up that Silk Cave at this point.
Yeah. And getting that Sand Ruby making a lot of sense right now. Pidge still only rocking 4 characters, but again, with an adamant spoonword, you don't really have to worry about having a 5th character right now. But if you're adding one, Edge is a great one to do.
Yeah, and you can pick him up basically whenever he'll.
Yeah. All right, Nightdew. Oh, shopping percent as we hit our 1 hour mark. That's where Captains were this entire game. It's always one of those also irksome things when you are doing 2v2s and you and your partner getting ready to, it's a hook seed, you have to fight, whoever's at the Rubicante spot. You're like, wait, did we never find Tensor Cabins in the overworld?
Yeah, that's always a scary fight. Luckily, Rubicon is a gentleman and will be happy to heal you before that fight.
True. All right, finally gonna get a peek at this Crystal Palace character. Who would be the worst one to see here?
Oh, it's so hard. We've had so many bad ones already.
I think everyone at this point I'd be actually really happy to add.
They're all pretty good. Maybe Palom?
Yeah.
Okay, we get Fusia. Fusia's great.
Yeah, and of course, all our racers had to do ordeals and Baron Castle to get this far. So that alone is 5 more bosses. So this Foo's going to probably come very close to full power, if not all the way there. Now, 1 boss fight to go, but should already know every spell.
So yeah, so it looks like Nightdew is right into the Lunar Subterrane. Now there are a couple of trolley potential key item locations left behind that Darkness Crystal. One in the Giant of Babil behind the last arm check. One in the Lunar Path behind what we lovingly refer to as the Hairdryer's chest. And there's always the potential for value in Cape Bahamut. So there's a couple other places. Now that might be Pidge's job once she's done checking everything else on the Earth that she's tasked to do right now. It might be her job to do that, or it might be these just complete outliers. We'll just hold them to the end, and sometimes when you've got as many key item locations that are available in this run, some of them are gonna be in the last places that you route into your check, and if they're in there, then maybe this just wasn't your race. Luck has some effect in it. This is a randomizer after all.
Oh, of course. Nightdew, however, looks to be gambling on this really dense cluster of bosses down on floor 7. I wonder if he'll grind it all at the Gold Dragons. Let's see if he stops there. Nope, runs on through. So we have the Plague spot with 1 key item, the Lunar Dragon spot with 2, and then Ogopogo, 1 more floor down, also has 1. So very dense cluster here. It's a great place to target. We'll see if it actually pays off for Nightdew tonight.
Yeah, as Mel picks up his Darkness Crystal, and that team now has access to the moon as well. Uh, One thing to also note is the Lunar Subterrane is like there's a couple places where that kind of behave a little bit differently in Free Enterprise. In the Fame Arch, you've got one trap chest, but you know it's within the floors with the damage tiles. In the Lunar Subterrane, the environment changes between the Lunar Subterrane and the Lunar Core, but those trap chests could be in any of those locations.
Absolutely. And Sheila 1's item is a Masamune, so you can upgrade your edge a little further if you really, really want to. And that looked like crystal armor. I was a little pixelated there, which, yeah, it was a crystal armor.
It was definitely crystal armor, yeah.
Which isn't the worst thing in this situation. We do have those Avengers still cluttered in our inventory, so if we find Cecil somewhere, well, Avenger's the one thing that overcomes crystal armor's berserk resistance, so not so bad.
Yeah, as long as you found those Avengers, then it might be worth keeping. It kind of depends on where you want to put your adamant armor on. Crystal armor, or crystal sword, adamant armor, Cecil is one of the biggest powerhouses in this game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I personally, I will always put the adamant armor on a crystal sword Cecil. But some people don't like to move it around. It does, of course, there's a glitch where if you remove adamant armor from a character, it leaves them super weak to the basic elements of fire, ice, and lightning. So some people are thinking, okay, my edge is great. You know, I've had it on him, he's doing great damage. If I take it off him, well, I could get one shot to something embarrassing. Leave it on for now, maybe swap it at the Zeromus fight, since Zeromus doesn't use elemental magic. So that could be another consideration, but I am on board with 7,000 to 8,000 a swing Crystal Paladin of the adamant armor Cecil, for sure.
Yeah, if Cecil's killing everything in his path, who cares if other characters, right?
Hey, look, some people are fans of, you know, they have their favorites, they have their bays and, you know, their besties that they don't want to see fall unnecessarily.
Yeah, I've got more enemies than friends. Like, maybe I should just start equipping Yang with the adamant armor and take it off him right away. That's just my strategy.
I need you to die quickly. I need to get turns for my other characters. So if you could just, you know, fall over, inspect that floor, that'd be great.
Exactly. So it looks like, even though Mel had found that Darkness Crystal, the difference between these two teams right now is once Night Dew found that Darkness Crystal, he jetted to the moon as quickly as possible, saying, basically, Pidge, you're on the rest of this Sylph Cave duty. I'm going to go start checking lunar spots so that we're dividing our spot. Whereas Smatey and Mel have decided we're going to get through this Sylph Cave as quickly as possible, and then they'll probably divide up the moon once they get there as well.
Yeah, Sylph Cave is one of those really rude spots that some teams are like, okay, let's split it in half, you know, that way neither of us has to do the full extent of suffering. Me, I like a little suffering, so I'm always like, I got this. Where are my mute bells? We're doing Sylph Cave.
Well, there's also a lot of upside for it too. These fights within there are pretty good XP sources, so this is going to really prepare your team for the long run, and doing those fights on the moon are going to be a lot easier if you've completed a bunch of these Sylph Cave fights.
Yeah. And Night Dew, by the way, finally in the 6th round of this gauntlet fight, really hoping that these two chests pay off. Not a very difficult fight for his team. Again, what is a difficult fight for all of these adamant armors and, you know, general T4 level gear? But definitely a time investment. So we'll see if he actually finds value here, or if this has just been a waste of his last 4 or 5 minutes.
Well, yeah, it's one of these situations where Night Dew is hoping that he finds something, and Pidge is like, I hope there's nothing lying there. And they're teammates, but they're thinking different things because he wants to fight about.
And the last general falls. Tiva's Revenge in chat. going extra commentator's curse. Not quite that bad, but still pretty bad. Just a Sylph Summon and a Cure 3.
Yeah, that's pretty awful for this stage of the game. Like, if you're early on and you have a Rydia, like, a Sylph isn't a bad thing to find, but right now, we've got everything we need except the Legend Sword. And we've got good enough equipment, good enough characters. We can make this go with the teams that we have right now. We don't want to see anything other than Legend.
I'm laughing at the thought of Scala laughing based on what she said in our Twitch chat. Like, oh, what a troll! What a troll!
Now, Night Duke finding that Rubicon fight. This is one of those fights that if you did decide to unequip that adamant armor, that weakness to fire can really screw you there.
Oh yeah, because with Night Duke's team already zerking up that edge, going to be doing melee damage. Every basic melee attack earns a group fire to in response, and yeah, taking quadruple damage from it would, well, I mean, these characters could actually probably take 500 or so a hit and be fine for a little bit, but much better to see those nice low numbers.
Yeah, it kind of depends on where you find Rubicon. I believe this is the Plague location, and that's not one of the scarier places that you
And get cooped. Oh, Detain's already answered you. Yeah, if you don't... Oh, so much of the XP in the Gauntlet is tied up in the generals, so if you don't actually take the time to kill every general, you're coming up pretty short on XP in that fight. But we have Sirens, we have Moon Access, Gold Dragons are always an option. But yeah, definitely makes that fight feel like even more of a waste.
The other thing to remember in that fight is you get piece by piece experience throughout that fight. So you're never going to see that round number at the end. Even kill all the generals throughout it, you're not going to see 100,000. You're going to get however it's broken up by battle in that.
Oh yeah. Sometimes though, the way board programs the XP splits, you can sneak a little extra in there. Not that it makes a difference at endgame levels, but I do like that fighting the Magus Sisters there, I think gives you 100,002. Which, all right, sure.
Now I'm winning.
I mean, you know, we never look at our XP gains. Maybe that 2 XP really did save you a fight when you were grinding for your Zeromus time. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, and that spot.
Oh, go ahead.
That spot, if you get the CPU in that spot and you've got something like Bahamut to just smash everything away and then just heal up after the other ones, and so you're killing those things over and over again, you can get a ton more than 100,000 experience in that spot there. So.
Oh yeah. And by the way, only a Dragoon shield at the Plague spot. My beautiful, beautiful floor 7 of the Lunar Subterrane not paying out for Night Dude tonight.
Yeah, and not even getting the key items go closer to that 10 for the double experience either. Just regular stuff. But heading to find trap chests in the Lunar Core and finds a behemoth chest. This is one of those that, as you mentioned before, not helpful to have the hourglass.
Luckily, though, given that Rosa is in the middle of his team, I'm guessing he doesn't have a curse ring on. Behemoths are actually a really slow monster in terms of how frequently they take their own turn. So you don't want to go in here with a low anchor to speed them up, because they will punch you periodically, and then they will also punch as a counter to any of your attacks. The only other thing they do, I believe, is a multi-target weak attack called Storm if you hit them with Holy Magic. So don't use Holy, don't use Meteor, just take the time, take your licks, and you'll get through it. No sweat.
Yeah, this is a pretty common strategy that you see Night Duke doing. You've got Edge, who is the heavy hitter with the melee attacks. Berserk him up, eat the counter attacks. Don't worry about anybody else doing anything. Don't have Sid do his, 800 damage that he could do in there. It might be additional damage that you're doing, but you don't want to face those extra counter attacks for not a good reason.
Gets a gold apple, immediately slaps that on Porum, getting that extra 100 HP. She, with her HP growth, can definitely use it. Given Night Dude's up here clearing lunar bosses, odds are his Rosa will get pretty good HP in time for the Zeromus fight, but Porum definitely can use that little extra oomph.
Yeah, and we see Mel is making the trip into the Giant of Babil. Oh, and, yeah, Megan,
Sorry, I'm just laughing at Night Dew.
Yeah, Night Dew definitely got nuked there for sure. That was the Ogopogo spot?
Yeah, so very high magic attack, pretty high speed. Night Dew, remember when you threw that cursed ring away? Wouldn't it be nice to have it right now? Wouldn't it be nice? Ooh, he's my friend. I can pick on him, I swear.
But as I was saying, Mel has decided to head into the Giant of Babil. There's one trapped chest in here, and this is one of those, another gamble play, because it is a bit time consuming to go get this one trapped chest, but if it's there, you might be the smartest person in the race.
Oh yeah, and unfortunately for Mel, it is the last chest in here right before you get to the bosses. Night Dew, by the way, choosing to refight the behemoth, really wants that gold apple apparently.
Might want the experience too.
Oh yeah, they do give a hefty chunk of that. Oh, that's so rude. The last arm froze Edward as soon as Mel put the berserk on Edward. So cruel. Oh, different behemoth attained. Thank you. Must be doing other trap chests here just to clear out the whatever's lying here in the core, and maybe also be ready for the find something that may help him out with that Wyvern fight.
Yeah, might not just want to say like, we'll just put off that Wyvern until we absolutely have to do it.
Looks like his stream has frozen just a little bit though. Hopefully he gets moving again before finishing the fight. Would like to know what lies in this chest. And because I was looking at the frozen screen on Night Dews, I missed the item that Mel got, but it's enough to make him walk out.
Well, I don't think he was going to be fighting the bosses. Oh, you mean not resetting up?
Yeah. I mean, not everyone uses that strat anyway, but I definitely hate... Oh, Leviathan Summon. Thank you, Maggie. By the way, huge shout out to our tracker tonight, Maggie the Cat. Huge shout out to Scala Kitty, our restreamer, and of course, Rex Raoul. Always a pleasure working with you, sir. So thanks to all the crew keeping us straight tonight, because I have no idea how anyone keeps up with all 4 screens at once. I'm so bad. And of course, our racers putting on a great show here at this inaugural Twinsday Night 2v2 race. And
also, thanks to Invenerable, who's managing this new Wednesday night Twin Invitational. Or Twinsday? Twinsday, that's what we're calling it? Twinsday.
Everyone wanted 2v2 but I didn't want to have it, like 2 community races on consecutive nights, so we went with Wednesdays. But honestly, it's seeming that a lot of people... we tried to set this at a time where people could make it on both coasts. Monday nights kind of catered to the West Coast. Friday nights kind of catered to the East Coast. Tried to do something in the middle, but a lot of people seem to have trouble actually making it. So this is definitely, it's a new thing we're doing. We are open to suggestions, maybe finding a time where more people can participate, because I love 2v2. I love playing 2v2, and I think people are really going to enjoy some of these flag sets we have coming forward.
Yeah, I missed out on the Twin Invitational tournament and kind of got my introduction ramping up to the World Series with the 2v2 experience, and I think it's a lot of fun. Even if it's a pickup race and you're doing it with a random person that you haven't worked with before. I mean, I know Smapty and RPG Mel are very experienced. They've worked together as a team for a long time. But whether or not you've got that or you're just picking up with somebody for the first time, it's just a really fun experience to, be in that situation where you're talking to somebody about the game. Not only do you learn a lot from talking to somebody new about going through a particular seed, it's just a lot of fun to be able to, complain about seeing the Wyvern or something like that. It's just, you get a lot out of doing it. And I if you're interested at all, I definitely recommend checking it out. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. And just checking in, while we are working to get Night Dew stream back up on the restream, if his tracker is accurate. He did not actually find an additional key item from that behemoth chest, nor the red dragons he just found in another one. So still no key item payouts on the moon for any of our runners.
Now we see Pidge heading over to another one of those random outskirts chests, the hairdryer's chest.
Aha! I think we just had a little bit of a stream refresh, courtesy of our restreamer. Ah, and Night Dew is back as well. Excellent. Yeah, Night Dew checking these chests on the way up to the vanilla Wyvern spot. Hoping that the actual Wyvern fight at Ogopogo does not hold progression.
I know it's not possible, but I think it would be really fun if Night Dew was trolling another Wyvern this year.
Given that there is a characters not guaranteed flag, it might be funny to have a bosses not guaranteed flag, where, you could, say, on a given seed, run into 6 Wyverns, 8 Ogopogos, and a Dark Knight in a pear tree.
If we could have a dash all Wyverns flag.
That's just mean.
That's a pretty nasty one to find there, too. Might be able to get this cure in fast enough, we'll see.
Oh, not even necessary. Just clutching it with Sid. There we go.
61 HP.
That's 60 more than you need. It's all good.
Sid doing what Sid can, which is have a lot of HP. Found an assassin dagger. Again, not something that anybody's interested in at this point in the game.
Scala has rolled us the best moon ever.
Yeah, there's nothing here. Just nothing. But I guess we'll check to see if there's any yeah, take your pick. Galvez, Kainazo, Valvalis, Wyvern. There's a lot of all bosses that would be bad.
Actually, well, yeah, that's why oh, gosh, I'm just thinking of how incredibly boring a seed would be with, that many Galvez. It's like, all right, let me pop my Starvilles.
Like,
are we done yet? Or even better, one without J items to where you just have to win through life potion attrition. Oh my god.
And you have to listen to them laugh at you every time you get Looks like we see Pale Dim in the Bahamut spot. I don't think this is going to be too bad for the party at this point in time.
Yeah, it's gonna hit like a truck, but it's only going to hit one character at a time like a truck.
Yeah.
And we do have adamant armor rocking.
Yeah, the adamant armor is going to make it a lot easier. I mean, this is one where, like, if you have that crystal sword, if you have that dragoon spear, and somebody who could use it, it would be a cinch because that dragon weakness. But they should be good enough to get past this one.
I do, meanwhile, continuing trap chest checks. Now, I didn't keep the closest of counts, but I still feel like maybe each of these teams left something hanging in Sylph Cave. I mean, it was tricky to keep track of just exactly how many of the trap chests each team had cleared. But I feel like there might have been a chest or two not fought.
That is a possibility. I know I wasn't ticking off every one, like all 3 ghost chests and everything. I have no idea whether or not they've full cleared either any individual or between a team. So that's definitely a possibility. Other than that, I think we've seen everything on the Earth, so it has to be somewhere up here on the moon, right?
You'd think.
I mean, of course, it could be behind an item like the tower key or something that you have to go back to follow a chain on the Earth, or the Earth Crystal or the Twin Heart. Speaking of Earth Crystal, looks like Night Dew just found that.
Oh, is that going to be our progression? I mean, there's been like, where are the key items hiding? Oh my goodness.
It absolutely could be. We still have that Wyvern lingering though too.
Yeah.
Looks like Pidge is heading back to the blue planet. We'll see. It looks like she's decided to make that giant check. So, gonna find that last time.
So we have at least some members of chat. Here's Renge rooting for a moon trap chest, which that Earth Crystal definitely gates. More importantly, I'm pretty sure it's... No. I was going to say, I think it guarantees you at least one of Cecil or Kane at this point, but there's still both Giant and Cave Evelyn spots left. So we could actually just get there and find Hallam and Rydia, which I also don't hate.
Looks like Night Dew, unlike when it was in the Silk Cave and Night Dew found that Darkness Crystal and he just zipped out of there, looks like he still is going to be clearing the rest of this Lunar Subterrane, get all of the trap chests out of there. We'll see if he decides to go back to that Wyvern fight, which Smatey just found.
Now, I'm pretty sure... Let's see if Smatey saved his Cursed Ring. If so... should actually be able to handle that fight without too much trouble.
Yeah, let's see what happens here.
He's checking his character's agilities, it looks like. Moving through to the middle. Oh, there's that equip menu. Oh, yeah, there we go.
And the battle speed going down as well. Always a useful tool that for these bosses that just go so fast.
Oh yeah, and especially with Wyvern, it makes it go from impossible to get a star Veil off to where you're pretty reliably getting 2 off, both on your top character and your bottom character, if you get the inputs in time. Makes it very easy to get your team lifed up and rolling. We'll note that this may be also sitting there with Artemis arrows in his inventory. If he has a character he wants to use those with, they'll be doing quadruple damage to Wyvern as well.
Looks like he's getting at least 1 star veil up. And 2. Oh, 3. Now we're in territory.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Yeah. Smatey's in great shape. Great shape here. Probably just said that you can't do more than 9,999 back to the boss at one time.
Yeah, can't get the quad or more than the quad 9.
Yeah. Would love some break damage limit, but only on reflected attacks. Just to clown on Wyvern.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, if progression is here, ooh.
If this is where the important progression is, this could be huge for Bygon's biceps, giving them a big leg up or arm up in this race.
But yeah, like, I'm kind of rooting for it now, just again to show the importance of that Cursed Ring item. You know, you get that in your vanilla playthrough as a random drop from a skeleton type enemy, and you're like, oh, what is this crap? And then all of a sudden in Free Enterprise, moving that Wyvern around, all of a sudden it becomes just a game-breaking piece of gear.
And RPG Mel also just found in another trap chest, I believe this is on the way to the Pale Dim location, found the Luca key. So there's another possible progression place.
Absolutely. And with that, I think okay, we're still missing Twin Harp, we're still missing Hook, and we're still missing Tower Key. So if this is all we find on the moon, it looks like we're probably still chasing a chain on the Earth at that.
Yeah, and all of those are potential things, because remember, we've had that rat tail since almost the beginning. and no way to check that out, so the hook could be progression.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Where the magma key is the actual trolliest part of the scene. Mel, by the way, not getting quite enough damage in to kill all the dolls at once. Has still with the big doll. And it is Tower Key from that Wyvern fight. Ooh.
Okay, now we've got a lot of places to look.
Yeah,
like, there's a lot of... We're still pretty wide open right now.
So just to recap, so the Luca key is a trap chest on the way to Pale Dim. The Tower key is behind Wyvern at Ogopogo, and the Earth Crystal was just kind of a random chest somewhere around B4, wasn't it?
Yeah, B4 or B5, that kind of area.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I feel like if I kill Wyvern and get an important item, like there's a small part of me that says, okay, that's it. We're not clearing anything. Oh, and hook 'em. Okay. 4 key items on the moon after all. Each one leads somewhere else. Not a single one was the direct legend sword. So roll your D4, figure out where you're going. Good luck to our racers.
Yeah, well, the hook's going to probably be the easiest one to check. Just walk over to the Adamant Grotto. But any of the other ones, you pick right or you pick wrong, and that could be the difference between, first place and fourth place in a race,
I do notice, by the way, that although Mel did just get the hook, does not have the rat tail that his partner has. Question now is, it's been an hour and a half. Do you remember where you got your rat tail so you can direct your teammate there?
That is actually like a legit part of this 2v2 environment, is remembering because sometimes something that doesn't seem like it's a very significant piece of information at the time becomes super relevant late in the game, such as you said, where is that rat tail, so I can check that out real fast.
I do like, though, that Pidge over on the Team Rawberry, Highway Rawberry, also gets the hook, also doesn't have the rat tail. So,
that is a really interesting coincidence.
Yeah.
But it looks like Nightdew is following suit, and so Nightdew might be on the check the rat tail team.
Yeah, sounds legit. So now Pidge is running downstairs. I wonder if she is going to go specifically pick up the other key items that Nightdew grabbed, or if she is going straight to Wyvern, because I'm pretty sure she still has a curse ring.
Yeah, if she still has her curse ring and goes to the Wyvern, she might be able to do what Smakety did and get that tower key.
Mel showing off a graphical glitch that happens if you it's something having to do with if you spawn the hovercraft with the whale already spawned, it makes it that weird pale white color that we saw there for a moment.
Yeah, Free Enterprise is not playing the game as Sakaguchi intended, so there's a lot of little weird graphical glitches that you'll see from time to time. Mel decided to go ahead and cash in that pink tail at least. So now another suit of adamant armor is always welcome.
Oh yeah. Hands down, best piece of equipment in the game. Makes nearly any character suddenly go from marginal to Zeromus ready at rather low levels at that.
Yeah, incredible defense, both physical and magical. Boost to all stats. It's what you want. And it also isn't affected by magnetic force.
Oh yeah. Which is sometimes is more annoying than it's worth, because we usually play with encounters toggled off anyway.
Yeah.
So you actually want to die to magnetism as quickly as possible. I love being there. I think, is it Zeus Gauntlet also, strangely, isn't magnetic? So you go in there wearing adamant armor and Zeus Gauntlet, and you're like, wait, why am I not dead?
The weirdness of this game sometimes. Yeah, yeah, Kabahi, maybe the next Twinsday will have forced encounters.
I'll leave that for Seed of the Week shenanigans. We want our racers to be happy and to feel like they wrapped up the game reasonably quickly. Also,
I say this as somebody who has absolutely no control what's in the Twinsday flags.
Also, Runex from the Rat Tail. Oh. Womp womp. Scala, where's this freaking legend sword?
Well, Night Dude gonna be checking that sealed cave.
And Pidge, meanwhile, has saved on floor 7. Oh. Gonna put... yeah. We're about to see some curse ring shenanigans, I feel. Or wait, does she not have one either? Is she just hoping that Sid's slow enough for Edward to get a turn off?
Nope, we're going to the arms. We got that curse ring.
Oh, okay, good. I was worried for a second. You don't want to forget that if you can help it.
If that tower key leads to that Night Dew, or leads to that legend sword, then Night Dew might be cursing the fact that he ditched the curse ring.
Yep. But we did find 2 this seed. There was the one at Antlion, which is the one Night Dew threw away, and Pidge found hers elsewhere. Do you remember what that second curse ring was?
It might have been in Eblin. I really don't remember.
Okay. And here come the Star Veils. Oh, does not get one off in time. I don't think she set her battle speed down, did she?
It might be the battle speed, yeah.
Yeah. Impressive what a difference that makes. This maybe did get all 4 off except for his anchor, which was, ooh, very nice.
Okay, this time Pidge definitely did set the battle speed to 6, and she's walking right back there, so my guess is that she didn't the first time, and now she's like, oh, I need to do that too.
And the Luca Cave item is Twin Harp, more chain. I forgot the Twin Harp, so there was still a chain left, my bad. Oh, beautiful.
And that means Night Dew has to fight this boss and has to get out of the sealed cave where you can't use exit. You can warp, but you can't use exit. It's a family game. We've gone back many generations.
All right, we have.
Looks like we're back.
Yes. And okay, Mel does not have the legend sword lit up, so either did not find the Stillmen just yet. Also, by the way, what's up, Kane? Or it's going to be in this very last chest. We'll know in just a moment. You kind of have to be thinking, by the way, that with how 2v2 works, you can generally expect to see people start to finish around like the hour-and-a-half mark, just on average, it seems. So when you get to that point and no one's hit that dot done yet, you start to think, okay, what is the most absurd place this item can be? So Mel making the play down here to check the Mad Ogre chest.
Yeah, I would think that one and Wyvern Tower Key are like the most out there things, because that Wyvern is tough to beat. And and the Mad Ogre's chest is deep within this cave. Like, these are a couple of real outlander places.
But also, I mean, even the length to have to go through Sealed Cave, by the way, to get the Twin Harp and then get your tunes on. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I you know, that's absolutely true too. This is another one that it could be any of it. Honestly, none of them seem like they're real easy checks. Once we had that rat tail eliminated, like, any of these ones could be where it's at this point. So we'll see if Maggie decides to go right to that Tower of Zod and make that check. To see if Night Dude's gonna have to figure out how to beat that Wyvern.
Oh, I mean, now Night Dude could go pick up that spare Tella in the Tower of Wishes. We do have the rescue flag on, and with Tella as anchor and an adamant armored edge, you can probably get your first Starveil off in time.
The other one is depending on where his Sid is at, if he's got a dwarf axe. Oh, he just found a curse ring.
He went back and grabbed that very quickly. He's like, yes.
Not getting rid of this one.
Yeah, Pidge making the play at Tower Key. And Mel got something that merits walking out instead of resetting again.
I believe it was that pass.
Oh. Yeah, that's definitely worth the hike.
But I don't think it... Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Smakey decides not to make the journey to get there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, because Smakey actually hasn't even gotten the hook yet, so Smakey would have to get the hook, would have to come down here, see the cutscene with Kane and everything. Yeah, Smakey's probably not, but this deep in, I don't blame Mel walking out at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And once you get to this point, he can exit out from the Evelyn part and avoid walking the rest of the way.
Yep. And although, because none of our racers tonight had their audio split, we are using background music, but luckily, Scala Kitty got you covered, I'm pretty sure. So.
Yeah, she's the DJ tonight. And
I unmuted my stream so I could hear it right quick. Yeah, that is some Hopes and Dreams / Save the World from Undertale. Excellent choice. Good DJ, Scala. Good DJ. DJ S Kitty. DJ Scala K. Spoony B got nothing on her.
yeah, Spoony B is okay, but sometimes you need a change.
Also, well, I'll share my disbelief after we see this item. Oh! All right. So, one, I am shocked that Smapey hasn't chased that tower key yet. Finding a key item behind Wyvern, especially a Wyvern at a really root spot where you have to break out the curse ring, I'm always tempted to chase that just because if it's something that not all my opponents will be able to do, let's chase that and see if it, gives us a huge victory. And hasn't chased it yet. Mel isn't on the moon to go get it either, and Pidge finding it and leaving Night Dew with a tricky choice here. He will walk out with his samurai bow because he found that the real prize, a replacement curse ring in the cave.
Yeah, can we talk about how lucky Night Dew is to find that curse ring right now? Like, that's amazing.
Oh yeah, because if not, he's the one on the team, if I remember correctly, who did Antlion Cave, and that was the flat-out prize from Antlion. He threw it away. Pidge found one of her own somewhere else, and usually when you find a good item, like an adamant armor, something else useful, you'll tell your teammate then and there. If your teammate says, "Nah, I don't really need that," like, "Oh no, I have my own cursed ring," are you really going to remember where it was an hour later? So, very fortunate to find a replacement.
Yeah, exactly. Night Dew almost certainly announced what he got from the Antlion Cave. Like, told Pidge, like, it's a cursed ring. You might want it, but probably not. And then Pidge is like, oh, okay. And then finds another one. Doesn't have to report it because knows that Night Dew already has access. So, yeah, this was super fortunate for Night Dew to find that extra cursed ring right at the time, right before he needs to go back and fight that Wyvern once again. This is amazing.
Yeah. And DJ, it was Scala Kitty who rolled tonight's seed. She seems so sweet and generous tonight. Here, start with the adamant. Starting item. One fewer thing you have to hunt down. Legend threw a Wyvern at Ogopogo. She gave you the cursed ring at the start of the game also to deal with it, so... God, what a seed. We
never see that cursed ring being equipped to Fusia.
And we do have a finisher tonight. Whew. First place finish tonight, 1 hour, 44 minutes, and 3 seconds by my World Series partner Zilch. GG's to Zilch. Of course, You're not done until your team is done. So, going to be waiting to see if his teammate, Quest for Workin, the other half of the Blue Alligators, crosses the finish line in time, or if some other team comes on in and snipes that first place finish.
But GG's to Zilch. This was a tough seed. That Wyvern is no joke. I mean, even we've seen once that Ogopogo spot has a very high HP. So you reflect that Mega Nuke, you get your characters alive. But then that Wyvern's going to throw on a wall and start reflecting nukes right at you right away. So the fight isn't over once those veils come.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's some places too where, you know, if you have really good magic defense, the counter nukes, you can tank some of them. They're not as strong as, like, the normal nukes that he reflects off himself.
Right.
They vary in strength. They're usually a lot weaker than the Mega Nuke. Not a Ogopogo spot. You're still feeling each and every one of those if you don't get your damage rolling, if you don't get your team members back up. So, yeah, very tricky fight. Scala definitely making people earn their crystals tonight.
Yeah, that Ogopogo spot has very high stats across the board. So it's scary no matter what it's doing.
So, Night Dew returning for vengeance.
Now equipped with a cursed ring. Hopefully, everything's going to go a lot better this time.
Ooh, but does not appear to have turned his battle speed down based on how quickly that can't run popped up.
He turned it to 3, I believe.
Oh, 3. Okay, gotcha. Not all the way down to 6, but... Okay, 2 characters got Starvel's off. Should be fine. May take a little longer to get the party back up. But 2 is so much better than 1 in this situation.
Yeah, and it's also a lot better than 0, which is what he was facing.
Popping those life potions as quickly as possible. At least this way Wyvern can only kill 1 character at a time now.
Yeah, I think that's usually a smart way of dealing with this part of the Wyvern fight. And I think that's another kind of danger of doing it at battle speed 3 instead of that we saw our others do it at, because the counter nukes will come in a bit, or not counter nukes, but the reflected nukes will come in a bit faster as well.
Yeah. Also, by the way, using those Artemis arrows with Sid, beautiful quad 9 damage.
Yeah, also saying that, Wyvern, you're not the only one with high-level spells.
Yeah, I'm curious how much these counter nukes are... Oh, oof.
You know, that's a lot of damage, but it's a manageable amount of damage.
Oh, yeah. Especially at these levels, having cleared so much of the seed, we probably won't see Night Dew even needing to grind before going to the Zeromus fight.
No, his levels look really good right now.
Yeah, he didn't get that second adamant armor via the pink tail, but again, this team looks great.
Looks like Pidge is done with her grind and is flying back to the moon. Looks like she might be ready to fight Zeromus now.
So Scala, once we do move on to some of the harder flag sets that we've engineered for these upcoming Twinsday night 2v2s, you might need to calm down on rolling these seeds so hard. You know, people were thinking like, oh, the flags are too easy, and then you go and do this to them, they're going to be too scared to play. You got to roll it back.
Well, it looks like Pidge has decided to pick up that second adamant armor after all.
Ah, not bad. A little more safety.
And it will probably make the Zeromus fight go a bit.
I mean, we still do not have a second place finisher overall. So the Highway Rawberry, Night Dew, and Pidge could still pull off this victory.
Yeah, and who knows, that like maybe Quest for Workin did the same thing that Night Dew did and threw away that early curse ring. And wasn't the one who went down that twin harp to be lucky enough to find another curse ring right at the right time.
Oh yeah, you'll either want to find another cursed ring. You may want to go. I think you can get by with grabbing a base level Tella if you still have one hanging out in the Tower of Wishes. There are ways around it, but none so efficient. Because although you can go rescue a low agility Tella from the Tower of Wishes and use him, Ogopogo's at pretty much the bottom of the moon. Having to fly back to the moon, walk all the way down, get your Legend Sword, fly back to the moon again to walk to Zeromus. Ugh. This is our racers today are definitely getting their step count in for the day.
Yeah, all of our races except for Mel, who has the pass. He doesn't have to make that last walk. Take the shortcut.
So Smape's finally done on the moon. Curious which item he's going to chase first here. I would be thinking again, one person done. That was 6 minutes ago. An hour 50 in, only one racer finished. The Wyvern just would be shouting in my ears right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got that Discord open and you're seeing the result, then yeah, I think you've got to think that. If you don't have it open and you honestly have no idea, then it could be anything. But if you're watching that, and it looks like Smapey probably is because he's going right to the Tower of Babil.
Yeah, he'll be very glad to see what he finds here. And Mel going back up to the moon has no spots left on Earth to check, I believe. Did he peek that Luca key?
I believe he did.
Okay.
Oh,
of course, he did Twin Harp. We had a second dose of music. Twin Harp was there, so Mel knows now that whatever progression there is on the moon. So
yeah, you might be going to get that pistol, and it'll be his job to check that until Smapey can confirm whether that this gives him the Legend Sword.
Oh yeah, Tifa's Revenge, absolutely. That may be one of my favorite parts of the scene. Gauntlet at Lunar Dragons. Yeah. By the way, free adamant armor on the cockle shelf. Wow. Just have another one. Why not? We'll just have Gauntlet leading to a Sylph Summon and a Cure 3. Here, spend 5 minutes on this fight and enjoy your rewards.
Hey, I mean, a Sylph or a Cure 3 costs 3,000 GP. So, I mean, that's not very good. It just really isn't very good.
Oh, Pidge making the long walk down to the Lunar Tour.
And Night Dew picks up his crystals. So now both members of Highway Robbery now in go mode.
Yes, but it will not be enough for first place overall, because Quest for Workin has finished second overall with a 1:52.23, giving the Blue Alligators a combined time of 3 hours, 36 minutes, 26 seconds. So they have won our first ever Twinsday night 2v2 race. GG's to Zilch and Quest for Workin. Very well done. But I think we have a more pressing issue at hand, don't we, Rex?
Yeah, whose butt are we going to kick tonight? As Pidge is into the Zeromus fight.
Here it comes. Oh yeah, the pass was from the Mad Ogre's chest in Upper Babil. For those of you wondering in chat. Oh, Thomas, the hatred engine. That's definitely one of Scala's favorites. So good to see it here at the, oh gosh, it's staring right into my soul. Pidge, kill this thing quickly, please.
Thomas cast Big Bang. Yeah, those eyes. Those eyes.
You came here for a race, but you're leaving with a nightmare.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
night, everyone. Chugga, 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 chugga.
Now Mel is going to be the last of our 4 featured runners to have to defeat this Wyvern.
Mel is lucky, though. Does not have to make yet another trip through the Lunar Subterrane. Found that pass. Going to shave off some precious minutes instead of having to make this dive yet again.
Only able to get 1 veil off on Mel's fight. Hopefully we'll be able to start regrouping fast enough. Get a little bit of time because Wyvern's going to take a full turn to wall up, but got to get people revived as quickly as possible so that the reflected newts don't wipe out the team too fast.
I did find it funny, by the way, that Pidge was worried after her Porum took a counter nuke that the Big Bang would then wipe her, but Porum shrugs it off, only taking like 200 damage from the Big Bang. It's like, why are you wasting a life potion on me? I'm fine. I got this, Mom. Come on.
Porum's like, ain't no thing.
She does refer to Porum as one of her precious children, so oh, they grow up so fast.
They do. At over 2,000 HP, Porum is a beast. I think the target of all the apples we've...
Night Dew coming into the fight as well. We don't have any other 3rd or 4th place finishers yet, so things are looking really good for Highway Rawberry.
Yeah, this could really be a very good showing for Highway Rawberry.
Meanwhile, Bygon's Biceps over here, Mel's basically going to fight 2 ultimate bosses back to back. First, having to get through this Wyvern fight before going into the, before dealing with the Zeromus fight.
Well, and also has to take down Octoman.
Oh, yeah. All right, so a brief interlude between consecutive final bosses.
Yeah, that one should be too.
Yeah. And Wyvern just every time, like, Mel trying to get the edge to stand back up and stay up, but Wyvern's like, nope, you're the one I'm microwaving today.
Yeah, I don't, like, all things considered, it probably doesn't matter. Oh, I think we've got a flashing screen. I want to finish my thought. Pidge.
GG's
the run.
Yeah, Pidge01 coming in 3rd place overall with a 156.31. GG's to Pidge. And with Naidu in the Zeromus fight, or the Thomas fight, should be coming right behind her very soon.
Yeah, now to finish my thought, what I was saying in the Mel fight, if having Edge stand would be nice, but the fact that Edward, who had that spoon and was really dealing the main force of damage to the Wyvern, as long as he was still able to attack and return, Wyvern did eventually go down. Mel has his tower key and will be able to be in goal shortly.
Also, apparently, according to chat, Scala has queued up Thomas the Tank Engine's theme music. You're gonna get the VOD muted! But seriously, how could this be any less perfect? Love it, love it, love it.
That's what we get when we've got a personal DJ for a scene.
Smapedy entering the Zeromus fight now as well. And Mel, although it looks a little farther behind, remember Mel does have that pass. It's going to be in really great shape on that front.
Yeah, he's still going to be the last of our runners to enter the fight, but he won't be as far behind as it might seem like he is at this point.
Absolutely. Unnerved Big Bang, Naidu's team shrugs it off without much difficulty. Everyone having plenty of HP to deal with it. For those of you who are curious about the Z fight and haven't really studied it yourself, if you time a spell at the right time, the counter nuke actually reduces Zeromus' spell damage to where a properly nerfed Big Bang cannot do more than 1,200 damage to your team. It's a rather small window, and of course, the more you play, the more you get comfortable doing it. If it is something you need to do to win the fight, but these teams are so powerful, have such good gear that they're probably not overly worried about it in this fight. T4 does that for you.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's a good practice, like to nerf the big bang so that when you do need it, you'll have that skill. But in a fight like this, as Inven just said, we've got plenty of levels, we got plenty of gear. Just take the full power big bang, you'll be able to recover.
Yeah, I believe that we found a total of 3 adamant armors. Nightdew didn't get the pink tail one, but the one in Baron, the one on Kakol's bookshelf, and then the one behind the pink tail, plenty of overpowered gear to go around today.
Absolutely. Yeah, it took a full-powered Big Bang plus the target all virus, and none of his characters died from that. So that shows how strong this team is, right?
I am surprised, though, that Nightdew is going for pure reflex strats here. You do get to skip a Zeromus refill that way and only have to deal with about half the HP. But White is not the fastest spell to cast. You still have to worry about the black holes, while we've seen how powerfully equipped that Edge is. High-end ninja swords with an adamant armor, ooh, they'll chop this tank engine into itty-bitty pieces.
Yeah, I think maybe if there was a Palom on this team that could be nuking instead of whiting, then that might be what tips the tail. I mean, the fact that Sid is the secondary melee fighter might have been the reasoning that Nightdew had. Just, I think just reflecting is what I want to do.
Yeah, that's fair. Although we did see the power of Sid for Nightdew in that Wyvern fight, doing quad 9 damage with the Artemis arrows. Ooh.
Yeah, that times 4 damage to dragons, real key there.
Yeah. That is one thing I like, though. I like any seed where kind of the tier 2 or tier 3 characters, depending on how you have your personal ranking, get to shine, and that was a great opportunity. And also, GG Nightdew.
Yeah, Nightdew finishing. That's awesome.
4th place overall, time of 2 hours, 1 minute, 11 seconds, making Highway Robberry 2nd place overall tonight. GG's, and we'll see if we can't get them in here for an interview soon.
Meanwhile, Mel is forging the crystal, got that taken care of. Smape D trying to take down Thomas right now.
Yeah, with Spoonward and Edge dishing out this damage in the thousands, should not be too much longer.
Yeah, with Spoonward and Edge dealing the need strats.
And although we are joined by Nightdew and Pidge01, if you'll hold on just 1 second, there's the flashing light. Smape has finished 5th place overall with a 2:02.09, and Mel having that pass shouldn't be too far behind. So Bygon's Biceps are really looking to clinch 3rd place overall tonight with this. In the meantime, though, GG Rawberry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So Nightdew, what was your plan if you hadn't found that backup curse ring?
Battle speed 6, pray to the run buffering gods.
Yeah, when you threw your curse ring away in Feymarch, we thought early on, oh, what if there's a fast Wyvern? And yeah, escaping that by the skin of your teeth. Because Pidge, you actually found a curse ring somewhere else, but that was like an hour and a half before y'all were even worried about Wyvern. So
yeah, I did. And in fact, when Nightdew mentioned that to me, that he tossed his curse ring, I was trying to remember where I found it, but that was so long ago. I just couldn't recall where it was. I hadn't failed to write it down even.
Gotcha. So by the end of this, so start of the seed, tell me about your emotional roller coaster from starting with Adamant to finding Legend Sword where you found it.
Well, I Adamant as my starting weapon. I didn't really have my hopes up because on Sunday I played a seed on these flags with my best friend where the starting item was Adamant and it was a full clear. So I was like, oh well, I guess we're in for another round of this tonight, huh?
It was definitely one of those things where it's like, okay, starting out of Adamant, this Legend Sword has to be on the moon or a moon byproduct at this point. It's there was no way we were gonna find it. Just and you can kind of sense it, especially as we started getting into Silk Cave. I mean, like as soon as I found the Darkness Crystal, I'm like, yeah, I'm going up there. It's gotta be.
Yeah, so I just went in and took care of the rest of Sylph while he was doing that, just to see if I could find anything of value in there, and as you recall, I did not.
We were worried you were going to find anything on the moon at first, though. Like, you had cleared a lot of the lower spots, and, like, nothing was popping up, and then finally a few items reared their heads, but it just seemed like... It seemed like this seed had fewer than 17 key items in it. It feels like there were only, like, 5.
It kind of did feel that way. Like, it took me a while to realize I actually had 10, and once we found the hook and the Luca key on the moon, we're just like, okay, all right, well, now we know what we need to do. And then Naitu reminded me that Ogopogo Wyvern was still at large, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go for it. I've got a really fast Edward with a spoon. Let's just see if I can get a Veil in, and then that ended up kind of working out.
Well,
yeah, we saw a lot of nothing at the moon first, and especially I think the one that we were talking about the most was completing that gauntlet and getting that Sylph summon and the Cure 3. Like that, I can imagine that was one of the more frustrating ones.
Yeah,
that felt really unfortunate. Yes.
Moral of the story: give cookies to Scala Kitty before she rolls the seed. Before she rolls the seed.
Yeah, I was just like happy because like Naitu was so fast at clearing out the moon and just like clearing out everything, and I just kind of like went underground to kind of take care of the stuff that was a little bit like out of his way. And I'm used to usually like when I play FE on the weekends, I'm used to being the one to go on the moon. So at the end, I was thinking like, oh crap, what do I do for levels? I didn't do anything on the moon. Oh dear, this is a problem because I have this adamant spoon word that I want to use, but he is not going to survive anything.
But he does a lot of damage.
Oh, that he does.
Also, Pitch, you need to have a little more faith in your daughter. I saw you throw that life potion on her, and then she just shrugged off that big bang like it was nothing.
Well, you see, I'm very protective of her. I just want to have a backup just in case.
She's like, Mom, I'm fine. I'm fine, Mom. Gosh.
She's like, I'm not in grade 1 anymore. Come on. I'm in grade 2 now, I'll have you know.
I know Cure 4 already.
Yeah, I laughed with that. I'm like, oh, well, that was a whole whopping 200 damage on Porum after she just got nuked, so... If she hadn't gotten nuked, I would have been totally confident, but I was like, ooh, I don't know what this Big Bang is going to do, but then it did a whole lot of nothing.
GG's again to both of you. Have you either of you looked at the upcoming 2v2 flag sets? Any of them stand out to you that you're looking forward to try your hand at?
I mean, 2v2 is just kind of fun in general, so very likely.
I'm in the same boat. I haven't looked at any of the flag sets yet because I was really on the fence about joining tonight because I do have to practice for RPG Limit Break, but I was like, it's the inaugural race. I love these flags. You know what? I'm just gonna join and see if I find a teammate, and then Supremacy forced me onto a team, and then we played.
And taking second place as a team and third place overall as an individual, I think you did very good for yourself tonight for
Thank you.
not wanting to do this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Naitu is a fantastic partner, so you know it was good to be part of this team.
Oh, absolutely, and trust me, you did plenty fine. I mean, you were the one who actually kept that curse string. I'm like, yeah, it's like, yeah, you definitely did very well. So yeah.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that was really fun. Hopefully, after Limit Break is over, I can do some more of these.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is going to be. This is already in plan to be another week. I think as it becomes, as people are more used to it, I think we're going to see more and more teams participate. But I think once people start doing these 2v2s, they're going to keep doing them. Just so much fun.
And we did have a few more finishers roll in. A very notable one, of course, is RPG Mel, finishing in 8th place overall with a 2:08.11, giving Team Bigen's Biceps a combined time of 4 hours, 10 minutes, and 20 seconds. We can't tell you for sure what place they'll have just yet, because we also had Woo Bear finish in 2:04.16, and Moonblaze will finish with a 2:06.21, so it depends on where their team members come across the finish line. But for now, GG's to both Smapedy and Mel. We are joined by Smapedy right now. Mel will be along soon. Oh, Mel may need to be dragged in. Gotcha. Anyway, Rex, you want to handle that while I get Mel in here?
Sure. So once again, Night Dude, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for letting us watch you tonight. And for Smapedy, GG's on your run tonight.
Thank you very much.
So, how did you feel about that Wyvern being the required place basically near the end?
I felt lucky I had a cursed ring because that could have been nasty otherwise. Well, I mean, Edge and Edward are pretty fast, so with a little bit of manipulation, might have got through. But that was a pretty simple to overcome, and especially since it got it slow enough that I think it got 4 Star Veils out, so that was pretty easy to just stabilize from there.
Right. So, what was your thought on this seed overall? And you played a lot. You and Mel have been teams for have been a team for quite a while, right?
Oh yeah. We've been playing together for a couple months now. We did the.
Oh, you're in here, Mel.
Oh, there he is. Hey, Mel.
Hello. How you guys doing?
But yeah, it's been since late last year that we've been partnered, right, Mel?
Yep. I'm sorry, I'm a little tired, so I might not be hearing everything.
That's okay. Smapedy can talk for you then.
Oh, he usually does anyway.
So, what did you think about this seed overall? I mean, we talked about the Wyvern, but I mean,
it was a very interesting start. When the last check we had in the overworld was Ordeals, I was very confused when I got the power robe, and then immediately when we saw D-Mist after, it was like, oh, okay, that's what's happening here.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird timing situation there with the you see the key item and it's like, this is nothing, but wait, oh, now there's something. So
yeah, that was the very last check we could do, and I was pretty much heading to Ordeals, and maybe it's like power robe. What?
Now, one thing we saw on your side, the other, a check using the hook into the upper Babil and finding that pass.
Yes.
I'm sure you were hoping for something more legendary and sword-like, but at least you got that out of it, right?
Yes, that was a nice find. I'll take it.
Yeah, it helped recover some time from our miscommunications at the end.
Yeah, and it helped recover the time that I forgot to change my battle speed back the whole rest of the game after Wyvern.
Oh, but I think that's something that almost every runner has done, is go change their battle speed for a tough fight, and then they're into an easy fight afterwards, and it's like, why is it taking me so long to get through this fight? Like, oh yeah.
Unfortunately, the very next battle after that was 3.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. So that probably cost me about a minute. Maybe 30, just 30 seconds or something. I don't know.
It feels like a lot longer when you're sitting through that fight.
Yeah.
Well, do you have any other final thoughts on this race tonight?
I'm just happy I finally got restreamed for once.
Oh.
Yeah, a serious shout out to everybody putting this on. I know tons of people in the community love the 2v2s. It's been so much fun to do. So it's really awesome that we've got everyone behind the scenes working to put a 2v2 community race together. So seriously, thanks for all your work today.
Yes, thank you very much.
Well, and thanks to both of you for letting us watch your team race tonight. And Night Dew and Pidge, I think you might still be here. Once again, thanks to both of you for letting us watch you again. Because it's always glad that we've got people who want to be restreamed that we can talk about that we can yap about while you're actually doing the racing. So that's always much appreciated as well. And GG's to everybody for your good times tonight.
GG's everybody, and thank you very much for all the work that you put into the restream, the commentators, the tracker, and the restreamer.
Yeah, and we've got, just so that you've got we get all the shout outs in there. Scala Kitty is doing the restreaming tonight. Maggie is doing the tracking. Very, very good job on both of those ends. And also, of course, alongside me, we've got Invenerable on commentary tonight. So GG's to everybody. And Invenerable is also the one who's basically managing these Twinsday night races. So thanks there. And it looks like we're going to be going to Tuaolo.
I can't pronounce it either.
I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So we're going to go over there and welcome them. And I don't really have anything else unless you do, Inven.
No, I do think, I believe this is Tualo's first free enterprise race. Maybe they played some casually, maybe this is their first race. So we have one of the best communities in any randomizer or gaming community, I dare say. So those of you joining the raid, make sure you give them some love, and we'll see you here on the Free Enterprise channel Friday Eastern for the return of the Friday night community races. So make sure you tune in or race in it. Natara has some pretty good flags cooked up for us this Friday.
She always does.
Well, for everyone here, I think we are good to go. You all have a wonderful night, and we'll see you soon.
Take care.
Thank you, you too.